気のせいじゃないよ。だって僕はウィルが誰よりも好きだから。そしてコレットさんよりも僕の方がウィルのことを好きだよ。こっち言っておきますけど、私とウィルは4年前までいつも抱きしめ合っていた。
Wistoria Wand and Sword episode number 8. There was a lot to unpack this episode, but here let me just say this. This was a fantastic episode of Wistoria Wand and Sword, not only buttoning up what has occurred so far, but then setting up what's going to come in the following episodes, including a brand new villain slash villains. It basically looks like some serious opponents have entered the dungeon and they're just out there murdering people essentially. But let me start with this. First off, I like how it buttoned up the Julius stuff. I love how Julius was forced to not just apologize, but apologize through actions, and the doors forced him to go and work, including his friends, to go and work in the one place that he was talking big smack about. So he's in there working his apology off in the restaurant, and he's like, nobody's gonna want me, nobody's gonna love me. Basically, he's just crying inside of there. And it's because the dwarves, they really take actions versus words a lot more serious, which makes sense to me too. It's like, you can say sorry all you want, but prove it, you little... You know, so that totally makes sense. So I love how they button up that story. And they also button it up with a nice little party for Will celebrating his non-victory victory. Because he went out, and although he didn't win the cup, he still got really noticed by everybody in the school. And he was noticed to basically have won, but he got duped with the elf actually winning because he forgot the purpose was to actually get the crown. But he still set out to accomplish a goal. And that goal was to beat Julius, and he did that. He mopped the floor with him. So I like how it definitely buttoned up, you know, that that portion of the story, and then it pivoted into the second part of the show, which was the date, which is Collette asking out Will on a date, and him being I guess monopolized by Rosti, and Rosti is frosty. Rosti is spicy. Rosti is out there just slanging love like nobody's business. And I love it. We always thought, you know, ever since I kind of saw Rosti, he's always been really flirtatious with Will and really helpful with Will. And it just makes sense that he really thinks about Will in that sense. And Will also said he's hung like an elephant trunk, you know what I mean? And I love how it was him versus Collette the whole entire time. I love Colette's reactions to him. And I love how he's like, hey, Will, go do something, bro. Like, go do something. I gotta talk to your girl real fast. And he basically just laid down the smackdown with Collette. He was like, I love Will more than you will ever love Will. Step aside, girly. And then the whole entire scene about, you know, him and Will taking baths together and letting Colette's kind of imagination run, you know, run wild, run rampant. I think it's hilarious and funny. And the fact that it's just straight up just challenged, and Collette was like, well, I used to hug Will all the time. And she's like, well, you haven't taken baths and stuff. So I thought that whole entire scene was just really, really good, really well done, and really funny. Then it transitioned into Will being recruited by, I forget what her name is, but basically being recruited to this Praxis program, which is essentially the students' challenge in the dungeon. And the top tier students, at least of the school so far, the top tier student kind of described them as the leftovers, basically the ones who haven't ascended the tower yet to that next level, as being left behind. They have something to prove, so they need the best team. So they got Julius, they got red hair boy name, I forget whatever his name is. They got the elf boy, and now they have Will. And then Collette inserted herself later on in the episode as well too into that. She's like, I'm not being left behind. Will's my man. I'm gonna be with Will. And I love that she's so assertive when it comes to Will. But he gets recruited back to that party, so that's kind of solidified. And then the episode ends with showing us the two potential villains that we're going to come across in the dungeon as they take on this program. So this challenge is probably going to be more than they bargained for with whatever comes next with these two villains that they introduced to us at the end of the episode. So overall, I think episode 8 was fantastic. I think it closed the book nicely. It gave us a little insight on the date with Will and Collette, mostly Will and Rosti, and then it opened the chapter for what's going to come next. And the next episode is Let the Praxis Begin. So let the dungeon exploration begin next episode. So overall, Chef's Kiss, episode 8, fantastic. I think this one really hit it out the park. 9 out of 10 for me. I got everything I wanted with this episode. Entertainment, good story, good plot, good closure, and then good transition to what's going to come next. So those are my thoughts on episode 8. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, my friends. And I'm going to see you guys next week, next Sunday, for episode number 9. All right. Peace out, my friends. See you then.